For more analysis, we're joined from Beirut by Najat Aoun Saliba, member of the Lebanese parliament, as well as Ahmed Yunus, academic researcher and political analyst. Good afternoon to you both, and thank you for being with us on Qnews. Let me start here by Dr. Yunus. And how do you assess the presence of U.S. delegation in Lebanon at this very critical time, especially with Trump's new administration?
Good evening to you and to your audience. This visit is important for a few reasons. First, the delegation includes top U.S. officials like the president's Middle East envoy and senior State Department representatives. So this shows that the U.S. Is paying close attention to the region right now. So the timing is also crucial because the Middle East is facing serious tensions, especially between Israel and Hezbollah. And Lebanon is dealing with a major political and economic crisis. So the delegation is focusing on two main issues. First, managing the ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah, and helping Lebanon form a stable government. So these are big challenges, but if they succeed, so it could bring more stability to the region. So the situation now in Lebanon is very complicated, and the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah has been going on for a long time. So making real progress will not be easy. So I think that the success of this visit depends on whether the delegation can achieve concrete results. So if they do, it could strengthen the U.S. influence in the region. But if not, so it might show how hard it's for the outsiders to solve these deep-rooted problems.
Yes, it's a very critical visit here at the backdrop of all the circumstances and the delay of Israel to retreat, as agreed by the resolution 1701. Dr. Saliba, if I may get to you here, and to start with the visit of the U.S. delegation to Lebanon, at the backdrop of all these circumstances occurring, what are your expectations regarding the outcome of such a visit and the impact of it on the Lebanese situation?
Good afternoon to you and to your host and to your visitor and to your viewers. Thank you for inviting me. This is extremely important for us, since the quintet or the committee that is overlooking the accomplishment and the implementation of the ceasefire agreement in the South is headed by the U.S. commander, and that's why we want to make sure that the U.S. is actually serious and will implement all the withdrawal of the Israeli forces from the territories that it has occupied. That's why it's, the meeting of the delegation with the president and with the prime minister delegate will be of utmost importance, and we do insist that the 1701 is implemented and also the ceasefire agreement is implemented, albeit that they have already extended the deadline for the withdrawal of the Israeli troops once, and we do expect that this will be the last one, and their withdrawal will bring safety and sovereignty and the spread of the Lebanese army to its full territories.
Now, Dr. Yunus, the U.S. delegation is visiting Lebanon amid this agreement or this ceasefire that was agreed. Now, how do you assess the timing of the visit, given the new deadline of Israeli troops withdrawal of 18th February? particularly that there has been a delay to the agreed date.
Yes, as we have said, that the U.S. delegation's visit comes at a critical time, as the Israeli forces are set to withdraw from Lebanese territory by February 18th. So the U.S. has confirmed that this deadline is final. But if Israel delays its withdrawal, I think it could lead to a serious tensions. The Lebanese leaders, including the presidents and Hezbollah, have warned that any Israel presence beyond this date will not be tolerated. So the delegation can play a key role in preventing escalation by pressuring Israel to stick to the withdrawal timeline. So, as the US acting as a mediator, so it can help maintain stability by facilitating dialogue and reinforcing its commitment to peace. So I think it also can work with different countries who are involved, like France or Egypt, as well as the United Nations, to avoid further tensions. So I think that managing the expectation among Lebanon's groups is equally important to prevent early actions that could escalate the situation.
Dr. Saliba, Lebanese President Joseph Aoun has already spoken to the head of the United Nations ceasefire monitoring body and asserted the need to implement Resolution 1701. He also asserted the need for Israel to withdraw from the territories it occupied in the last war and to release Lebanese prisoners. What role do you think the US delegation could play in those demands?
We stand behind the decisions and the agreements that the country and the government has taken, especially now that we have a president who's keen on implementing the resolution 1701. We really stand behind his decision as well, that the resolution 1701 should be implemented to the fullest, along with the ceasefire agreement, and the presence of a delegation, of a US delegation in Lebanon visiting the president will only strengthen the president's decision that Israel should withdraw from all the territories, the Lebanese territories, and the Lebanese army forces has shown that it is able to take over the peace and stability in all the territories that it has spread into, and it has really assured the safety and the safety of the Lebanese people going back to their villages and their lands. Again, we want a strong Lebanese country, Lebanese government, and we stand behind our president to actually strengthen our position vis-a-vis all foreign visitors, including the US delegation's visits.
Right. Dr. Yunus, the United States has been talking about potentially cementing the ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah. That also comes at the backdrop of many other statements that were said. Now, do you think that this will be a step towards real permanent stability in Lebanon, or these are just statements that are being said?
If the United States helps keep the ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah, so Lebanon and the whole region will benefit. So a stable situation will give the new Lebanese government, which has a strong support in parliament and a chance to work on which has strong, as we have said, strong support in the parliament and it has plans for reforming without worrying about war. So this will also help rebuild areas damaged by the conflict. So especially since Arab and international partners have promised support, the Gulf countries have pledged financial aid, and France has promised to organize a major conference with the European countries to help Lebanon recover economically. So Lebanon can focus on fixing its economy, regaining investor trust, and attracting more foreign aid. A stable environment will also encourage international donors to keep their promises and support long-term rebuilding. So politically, Lebanon will be in a stronger position to work with other countries and improve its future. So the lasting ceasefire will not only prevent further the damage or the destruction, but also give Lebanon the chance to recover and grow.
Yes, theoretically, your words are very true. Dr. Saliba, considering Israel's aggressive policies towards Lebanon, how do you think the U.S. intervention in the Israeli-Lebanese conflict would help reaching a final solution?
Again, I mean, the U.S. has its foot on the ground with the commander of one of their commanders is part of the committee that is overseeing the implementation of the ceasefire agreement, and so their presence on the ground is extremely important, and their diplomatic presence in Lebanon, talking to the high officials in Lebanon, will only strengthen the role and the job of the committee. And we do want to make sure that the committee completes its responsibilities and its work by actually implementing the ceasefire agreement, and also making sure that the UN Resolution 1701 is also being implemented. No one wants to go back to the 2006 scenario where the UN Resolution 1701 is put aside, and militias that are armed, that became more armed after the 2006 war, became even more powerful. We want only the Lebanese army forces to be the only armed force on the ground, along, of course, with the IDF, the internal defense forces, and all the other governmental forces to be present on the ground, to be the sole responsible for the safety of the Lebanese residents. We want and we would like to make sure, and I'm sure that the president and the nominated prime minister will emphasize on the same line the sovereignty of the country by giving the power for peace to the Lebanese army forces, and making sure that Israel withdraws as it is mentioned, and as they both, the parties, Lebanon and Israel, signed in the ceasefire agreement, that Israel will withdraw from all the occupied territories, the Lebanese territories, and will go back to the initial border that we have with Israel. This is for us a demand that we will implement here in Lebanon, and we want all the countries and all the countries that are overseeing this agreement to honor it and to make sure it's implemented.
Right, Dr. Yunus, this visit also comes right before the formation of the Lebanese new government, which is still facing some obstacles. Now, is the U.S. delegation visiting or visit would really or will really influence such an issue?
The visit of the U.S. delegation could play an important role in supporting the formation of Lebanon's new government. Despite the United States prefers a government without Hezbollah participation, but it has also encouraged Prime Minister Nawaf Salam to select ministers with clean records, free of corruption, capable of leading Lebanon into a new phase of stability and reform. So, if the delegation reinforces these messages during its visit, it may help create what we say a momentum for a government that is widely accepted both locally and internationally. So the delegation visit comes at a time when Lebanon is also dealing with the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hezbollah. By engaging with the Lebanese leader on both security and political matters, so the U.S. delegation may help ease tensions and encourage cooperation among different political groups. It cannot directly remove all obstacles, but its presence and diplomatic efforts could push the process forward by securing international support and increasing pressure for a swift and effective government formation.
Let me reiterate the same question for you, Dr. Saliba, here. And what could be the influence of the U.S. visit to Lebanon on the formation of the new government?
We appreciate all the concern and all the wishes that the international community, including foreign countries, for us to do the reforms and to form a cabinet to get going with all the reconstruction and to put back the country on its feet. But I do believe that forming the cabinet is an internal matter, and it should be only the work and the responsibility of the president and the nominee prime minister. We do, again, I'm saying we do appreciate all the concerns, but we definitely would like it to continue and remain an internal matter so that the sovereignty of the country is respected and the country gets going with all the concerns and all the challenges that we have on the right path for reform.
Dr. Yunus, the U.S. delegation is focusing on short-term ceasefire agreements. Now, what long-term solutions do you propose to address the ongoing conflict and the Israeli aggression, and how can Lebanon build international support for such solutions?
I think that the only way to ensure a lasting ceasefire a lasting ceasefire for Israel is to fully withdraw to the blue line, and for both sides, Hezbollah and Israel, should respect the UN resolution, particularly in terms of the 1701 agreement. So this resolution, which has been in place since 2006, successfully maintained over 18 years of relative calm. And during this period, Lebanon and Israel also reached a maritime border agreement, which was seen as a form of diplomatic progress. So if both parties commit to respect international agreements and maintaining open indirect communication through diplomatic channels, I think that the long-term stability can be achieved. The role of the United Nations and the international mediators is also essential in monitoring compliance and addressing any violations. So I think that a strong commitment to peace backed by regional and global support can transform a temporary truce into a lasting and secure arrangement for both sides.
Hopefully. And we do hope for that and for the Lebanese stability. That was Mr. Ahmed Yunus, academic researcher and political analyst, and Najat Aoun Saliba, member of the Lebanese parliament. We thank you both for being with us and for the special insights.